Well, how are we doing? It's the eve of Thanksgiving when everybody gains all their weight and blames it on everything else. Now, I'm sitting here, I made a video earlier and I don't know, I just didn't like it. So I deleted it. And I was getting ready to upload it to YouTube and I was like, you know what? Piss on it, I'll make something different. I don't care if I ramble about some stupid shit, I don't care if I give, a false hope, it is what it is. Now, I have made it clear I do not like to be like a lot of the people on YouTube that are telling people to go out and buy things, to stock up on this, stock up on that, and you have to have these items because if not, then you won't be in the social clique of prepping. Well, I'm not that kind of person. Because I've said before many times, what works for me, chances are will not work for you. This is one of those things that you have to decide what works good for you. A buddy of mine, I've known him for years. I'm going to skip my thing forward some. A buddy of mine I've known for years has always been one of those because they have it, I have to have it kind of thing. And this is what killed me. And then this was, I'm talking, this was like, what, 10 years ago, so to say. During deer season, he wanted a new deer rifle. And I told him, I said, dude, look, I said, to save your money, let's go over here to Bardstown, which is a 45-minute drive from where I live at. Let's go to Kentucky Gun Company. They got Mosin Nagant's 7.62 by 54R type rounds, Mosin Nagant, Russian bolt action rifle, surplus ship from World War II. Best deer gun in the world. I mean, you can one shot hit that sumbitch in the shoulder, blow his whole shoulder out. He'd be down on the ground. Boom, there you go. No ifs, ands, or buts. Gun price at the time was like $100. You could get like a 20-round box of ammo for like $6. And I was like, it's a bolt action rifle. Boom, there you go. No harm, no foul. You can't go wrong with it. Oh no, I can't have that. All these other guys, these so-called rednecks, they got 270s with scopes on them and everything else. I gotta have a 270 because I want to be part of that social clique. So he went out and spent like $400 on a rifle without the scope, and it cost him like $30 a box for 270 rounds. And like, yeah, a box of shells, I think it was like a 20 or 30 round box was like $30 a box, something like that. It was crazy ass. And I got friends that are like that. No matter how much, something is, it's like, I gotta be in this little social clique and I gotta be like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be the lone wolf that goes out on his own and will get something equally to greater, even though it might be a knockoff or, surplus rifle or, something like that. It don't matter to me. As long as it does its job, it doesn't matter to me. Now, 2 years ago or so, I did buy that Ruger 1022 that was mossy oak. The barrel was hydro dipped and the stock was from mossy oak a long time ago. The whole gun's camouflage from tip to tip. I like that because not only when I go into a certain type of wood settings that has that type of pattern, not only is it harder for you to see the gun, so to say. I mean, yeah, I could have had my standard black barrel, my camouflage stock, and be done with that. I'd have been tickled pink with that. But here's the thing, like I've told to somebody else. If you do have that, and you're sitting there nice and still, and you're covered up in all your ghillie suit kind of shit, and your camouflage and everything, if all of you's blended in really nice and well, and you got that big old long black barrel, that son of a bitch is gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and it's like, oh look, there's something out of place because there's a big old shiny black barrel just sitting there all by itself. Now, I guess you could say I kind of fell in the bandwagon thing myself, but I got it because I know for a fact when you go through the woods, them black barrels stick out like crazy. And there's some places I go hunting at that technically I should not be there. And I don't want to be noticeable in places where I'm not supposed to be. But, you know, most of the time I did it just because I knew if I ever came to the point, if I had to resell the gun that I purchased, I can get a lot more money for it because it's completely camouflaged versus, you know, just being partial. There are so many things I do in my life that basically it's kind of like I have a lot of friends that want certain high-end quality items, which I understand. A lot of times you get what you pay for, but not all the time. And me myself, I love surplus firearms. I love surplus because, you know, they've been around the world and kicked around and put in places and done things in places that technically your more modern advanced firearms will not do, will not handle, can't control, can't perform. My brother-in-law, real good example. For years, he's like, man, I love my AR-15. He also had a version of a M16, and I told him, I said, dude, I said, those guns are great. You know, you can do this and do that and dress them up really good. I said, but there's one problem. He said, what's that? I said, open up your bolt and let's pour a handful of sand inside there and see if it'll fire. He goes, it won't. And I said, well, get my SKS or get my AK and we can go out there and smash it in the pond of water and smush it down with your feet inside the mud, drag it up and chamber around, and it'll fire every damn time. I said, I would much rather stick with my Soviet garbage, as you would refer to, than stick with an American made that, you know, you pour sand inside of it, it blows up in front of your face. Nah, I'm good. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've had an M4. I loved it. I'm gonna build another M4 here soon. But I'm gonna build it with a pistol stock versus a regular stock, because I want to get me a short barrel, a 10.5 inch upper, and I'm going to deck that bad boy out, and it's going to be my CQCB. And if you don't know what CQCB is, it's close quarter combat. And, well, actually, it's close quarter combat range. Let's see, CQCB, close quarter combat. Yeah, I said it right. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to have that. Plus, I got me a shit ton of M855, which is a slight penetrator round. There's a small little steel cap in the tip of a 5.56. Nothing really major. I mean, it will go through like your basic metals. I think I know there's a steel plate. There's a certain thickness it'll go through. But if you have a 7.62 Mosin Nagant, M8, an M48, 9130, M79, there's all kinds of variants. But if you have one of those in a silver tipped bullet, you can shoot straight through an 1.25 inch steel plate and it'll punch right through it and it doesn't flatten out. It's like bam, it keeps on going. I had a bunch of those rounds and oh, I love them. I mean, now I'm not saying this so to say for doing evilish type acts and deeds, but your basic body armor is Swiss cheese. If you get nailed by a silver tip 7.62 by 54R, it'll go right through it. I mean, from front to back, right on through, no questions asked. And but I got a bunch of those rounds. I love them. Now I don't have most than I got no more. I don't have my M48 and everything else, but I still have the rounds because I know people who have the guns that need the rounds. And I'm like, well, I could trade you my whole 440 round box of them, or I can just, whenever you need it, I can barter with you with little small things here and there and do it that way, which I love bartering. I love trading. I mean, you handing me cash in my hand and me giving you something, hey, that works too. But I would much rather barter because, and sometimes I get a better deal than what the person getting the stuff from me is getting. But that's how I look at it, and they can think they're getting a better deal than I am. But in my mind, I'm getting a good deal. You know, like right now, I've been stocking up on sardines like crazy, and people are like, "Why in the hell are you stocking up on sardines?" Well, let me show you why. Oop, I'm about to drop it. I was gonna drop it. Now, your standard can of sardines, nothing to it. Just a small little pack. No, these are what, the mustard ones? Yeah, mustard sardines. Now, there's probably, let's see, one, two, three, four, probably about 6 sardines in here, maybe 7 or 8, depending how they're positioned. But this right here, it's guaranteed that I will not go hungry. No, my stomach won't be completely full and I won't be undoing my pants belt and everything else because I'm so stuffed. But in a hard case scenario, you know, I can eat a can of these and I won't be hungry, but I won't be full. Unless I eat like a bird, then I might be full. But, this right here is a great way to stock your pantry and, to have your food prep so that way, when shit does hit the fan, when it does, nobody knows when, everybody's guesstimating. Everybody's saying, well, next 4 months, next 6 months, next 2 months. Nobody knows. Everybody, it's like when everybody says, oh, this is the end of times because the Bible says so. And, if everything is taking place, if you read the Bible, this is the end of times. I've been hearing that since I was 5 years old. I'm going on 50. And every year to 2 years, somebody's saying, well, if you see the signs, this is the signs of everything the Bible says, and it's going to be the end of times, and Jesus is going to come back, and the rapture's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. Nobody knows. It's a guesstimation. Just like it is with this scenario of shit hit the fan, the dark winter, and everything else. Now, New York got nailed with that snowstorm. I mean, they got nailed. But the thing of it is, if you go back 15, 20, let's put my sardines up real quick. But if you go back 15, 20 plus years ago, usually in wintertime, that's average for them. And I mean, it's kind of a fluke right now, this time of year. But they usually get feet of snow all the time. To them, it's no big deal. They've had, kind of like a lucky gap to where, the past few years, they haven't been hit with much. But that goes on. And when I was growing up in New York, New Jersey, Maine, all through there, they get buttloads of snow. And, everything that was like the normal. But, people you're like my kids' age, they see that like, man, that's crazy, that's insane. No, it's not. It's normal. Just like would be like if you lived in Florida, in the summertime, having hurricanes or tropical storms. You're just like, just another storm, no big deal. Let's board up some plywood, take shelter, do our thing, and it is what it is. It's common. Or being like out in the Midwest, having tornadoes. Yeah, people say, oh, it's horrible, it's crazy. Well, it goes on all the time. It's, once you get into like a groove, it's like, hey, no big deal. It's the same old, same old. But what works for me generally will not work for you. Because my mindset tells me, hey, I need to stock up a bunch of shit for the pantry shelves that's going to last a number of years, to where even if nothing happens, I've still got food up here for like the small bumps that goes on through the night, through the months, that, you know, might cause an issue. That's like during this past summer, I stocked up on a lot of lamp oil because in the wintertime I use that to heat the house with. And, you know, instead of going out buying high-priced kerosene, you know, a big-ass jug of lamp oil, hell, it'll last me a good while, and, you know, he'll heat the house up nice and fine, and, you know, everything's hunky-dory. Versus going out, you know, buying a great big-ass thing of kerosene for, I haven't checked it in a while, but the last I saw, this been a while, don't hold it to me, but it was like $8 a gallon for kerosene. And I was like, I can get a great big ass bottle of lamp oil for like $4. Why would I want to buy a gallon of that when I can buy almost a gallon of this for $4 versus that for $8? And it does the same job. So that's what I'm saying. What works for me most of the time won't work for you, because your mindset is wired different than what mine is. Now, prepping is prepping, no matter if you're buying sardines, if you're buying beans, if you're buying rice, if you're buying corn, malts, hops, barley. Of course, all that right there makes a good beer or whiskey. But, you know, it just depends on what you're doing. You know, what you think is right for you. And I wish more people would, I don't want to say not watch these videos that people are making about, you know, what you need, what you have to have, because that is what they think that you need, and most people can't cut the decipherment of, well, it works good for you, but how's that going to work good for me? And they see stuff like this, and they run off to the Dollar Tree, or they run off to Walmart, or they run off to Aldi's, or what's the other one? Academy. And they just buy up all this crazy shit, and they have it piled up, and it's like, well, I got this, and I should have bought some of this, but I bought this instead. No. Use your brain for what you think you need. Don't worry about what I have. Don't worry about what the guy on YouTube saying, you gotta buy these 15 items or you won't make it during the, what they call the black winter. No. It ain't gonna happen, because what you need is what you need. It doesn't matter what I suggest. It doesn't matter what the guy tells you need. Whatever you need to function and to get through a hard time is different than anybody else. Not everybody has the same area, the same type of climate, the same type of surroundings, the same type of home, the same place of living dwelling area. Because my next thing I'm going to be getting, I'm going to be getting large quantities of water. Now, I'm not buying bottled water. I am going to be buying bottled water, but it's not, you know, the 30 pack or the 40 pack or the 28 pack. I'm buying gallons of water, and I'm going to pour them in my shelves in the dark area of the shelf area where it's away from the sunlight, and I'm going to have them stored sitting there for whenever, if we need water. But I don't foresee this. And here's another thing. Now, me, myself, right now, I would not use it. Because, well, my pool looks like a lake. It's all dark and murky and everything else. But if you have a swimming pool in your yard, and the water's nice and clean and clear, with a cover on, excuse me, with a cover on or cover off. If you got a swimming pool and the water is clear, and you can see through almost to the bottom, it might be a little murky, but not too bad. All you gotta do is get your big old pile of water up, put it on a heat source, boil that son of a bitch for 15-20 minutes, and you got clean drinking water. Now, it might taste like chlorine, but it'll be clean, boiled, and you can drink it and use it for whatever you need. Now, or what you can do other than that is get you a small type of a still. Now, when I say still, first thing most people's going to pop in their minds, hey, we're going to make moonshine, we're going to make whiskey. No, you get you a still. I have one. I got a great big one. And what I'm going to do with it, in the worst case scenario is I'm going to take some murky water, put it inside there, I'm going to fire that puppy up, and I'm going to run water through the still to make it distilled water. And when it comes out the other side, I'm going to have, well, more than likely, I'm going to have clean drinking water that I don't have to worry about. And then later down the road, if I want to throw some mash into it, hey, I can make me a hard sanitizer. I can make me a hard drink, partial lighter fluid, gasoline for the vehicle. Well, it won't be gasoline, it'd be like a form of ethanol form, but I can make fuel for the vehicle. And of course, I'd have to, make sure I do it a certain way so I don't gum up the pistons and everything else and blow the engine out. But I mean, it's limitless what you can do with one. And you don't need a great big one, you just need a small one. Because you can go online, you can buy, they call them pocket stills. And, it might take you a while to, I get a large quantity thing of water if you want to run a large thing of water, but it's there, it's optional. Of course, yeah, you can go out, you buy the straws, the water straw or the pump thing you do the water with, and you can do that, and it might work just as good. But what happens if you use it too many times and you don't have enough of the filters to put into it stocked up on hand? You're just screwed. That's what I'm saying. You have to look at things outside the box in different directions and different angles. Because just because what works great for me, chances are will not work great for you. And, as I say, it is what it is. Now, I had a video I posted the other day. I took it down. I was watching it. I didn't like how it looked. I just didn't like it. I was just like, you know what? Piss on it. Delete it. Be gone. I'll make another one. Put up in its place. Boom. Here we are. And this is what this is going to be. Now, I've had a semi-decent day. I had a semi-crappy day. There are things I'm sent, because right now it's like nice, it's mild, and nice and mild during the day, kind of cold at night, no big deal, no harm, no foul. I have a opportunity knocking at my door. Basically, a person down the road from me has some quail, and they have more than they need. And they said, it won't be anytime soon, but they said, here's shortly, within a short amount of time, for me to have a place to put them, because I'm going to be getting some quail from them. And I've been online looking up hutches and coops and platforms and all kinds of things. And me, myself, the easiest way to do it would be put them in the racks, those little cage things on top of each other, put the trays in between. To me, that's horrible. I mean, if that was something temporary to do until I could get a more permanent, fixed kind of structure, I would do it. But to me, honestly, that's like cruelty. I couldn't imagine me being crammed into like a small little box and saying, okay, this is all you got for whenever, until you die. And no, I can't do that. So I'm gonna get a pen set up, or buy one, set it up, add to it, do what I gotta do to make sure they have enough run area and a place to sleep and a place to lay eggs, have all the shelter and safety they need. But yeah, I'm gonna be getting some quail soon. And yeah, getting them in winter time's kind of a bad deal, but hey, I'll take him in the winter, I'll take him in the fall, I'll take him in the spring, I'll take him in the summer, I don't care. free items to put me some more breakfast, I do not mind. And worst, here's another thing. Worst case scenario, very worst case scenario is, if I was to get, say, 5 or 10 and they multiplied into 15 or 20, worst case scenario is, I have me itty bitty chicken dinner, and there it is. So that's how I look at it. But y'all have a great Thanksgiving. I got 1 bar left of my thing. I don't want to keep talking and have the thing go. So this will be kind of a quickie, kind of nonchalant video, but this is to replace the one that I took down. And later on, sometime between now and Sunday, I'll have a better video, more drawn out, talking about more things, and, cover more bases. But until then, use your noggin for what you think is best for you, and prep what you need, not what somebody asks you or tells you that you think you need. So, have a great day. Have a great night. It's almost midnight my time. A few more hours, I'll be stuffing my face full of taters and turkey. So, see you later.